Hey, it's Brian here. Let me get my screen ready for you. Nope, we want that one. Sorry about that. Anyways, let's talk about Bitcoin. And I've done some streams earlier today comparing some altcoins, Litecoin, Solano, and there's some outperformance depending upon the timing. But here I am doing a dedicated Bitcoin stream. Going to bring in some articles here, quite a few. I'm going to have those assist me in giving direction and what I think which way Bitcoin will go. You can see here in the chart that already Bitcoin has outperformed the declining SPY NASDAQ. Guess this is one of those instances, just like gold in my stream with the gold, and how these debt negotiations could put the U.S. under threat for potential default if this debt deal gets rejected tonight with Congress. And if that's the case, then that puts you, as I said, U.S. at risk for default on the 5th, I believe, of June. And as a result, Bitcoin could start to move up as well, along with gold as a safe haven trade. All right, so that's pretty well what's driving the. I'm going to assume Bitcoin to move up, as you can see here. And that's on a 5-minute intraday since May 28th. So those are returns so far. If I go into, let's say, intraday, which is what matters, well, looks like I could be saying the opposite. This is difficult, isn't it? So again, you just don't know what Bitcoin will do. So let's go into the articles instead and just like see what they say. Some of them are going to be good. Some of them are not going to be so good. You can see right here, all of them are lined up along here. Probably don't see it. Anyways, let me pull up my browser here. All right. So as I said here, there's a bunch of articles I could talk about here. The first one being NASDAQ hundreds price action indicate more gains for Bitcoin. Now that's from bitcoininsider.org. Investors piling in the U.S. tech sector, as we know, with NVIDIA sending the index 100 higher. Bitcoin should continue on the back of the bullish tech sector. Divergence with the NASDAQ 100 shows more potential. A lot of these articles I'm just starting to realize I'm not a big fan of, but let me pull up to see that. So in here, I purposely put in NASDAQ just for that, along with the SPY, let's say, the standard ETF that people will trade. So that's intraday that I've got. So let's take a look at a 3-month chart. You can see here, generally, Bitcoin is moving in the same direction as NASDAQ. Right here, when NASDAQ goes down, guess what? Bitcoin goes down as well, but a steeper loss. So what can I say about that? That's true. This is the problem with Bitcoin, because originally it was supposed to be not correlated with the performance of the stock market or NASDAQ. And sometimes I could put here and put, how does it perform against the US dollar with the US dollar currency index, DXY? Let's see what it's doing. So DXY is positive, and look what happens to Bitcoin, right? So if I look at year to date, DXY been fairly flat, slight negative. Guess what? You can see that dip there. Let me just pull in probably a monthly chart, maybe a 3-month. I want to show you the declines and upswings of with Bitcoin and the DXY. So DXY looks pretty flat. You can see that's pretty well the general performance with Bitcoin as well. I have to think maybe I've discovered something I don't know regarding DXY and the markets when they cross. What happens to Bitcoin? And is there an impact there? You could play around to see if that's the case. But generally, it's range bound along with the DXY. Now, if I was to go, I don't know, a year out, actually, Let me do a 5 year. You could probably see it better. You can see right here. Last year when the DXY went up, what happened to Bitcoin? It went down. When DXY started to decline, Bitcoin went up. Now I can probably say that is somewhat would make sense because if you're a major institutional trader or a firm and you just want an easy trade to get a good return, you would have traded the DXY. You would have been up. That's last year, 2022. You'd be up about 15%. And as a result, Bitcoin took major hits. Whereas DXY has kind of gone slightly negative along here. You can see, and Bitcoin went up. So it's like when Bitcoin goes up, DXY goes down, and vice versa. So that could be a general, more consistent type of trade. Let's go back to the article here. So yeah, we've seen this divergence, not quite as I said, between the Nasdaq and Bitcoin. Let me take out the DXY here. This is what I'm saying. A lot of the facts that they put in here are just wrong. A lot of these articles here, this does not look like it's declined. Like when Bitcoin goes up, so does SPY, and specifically, really, so does Nasdaq. And when Nasdaq goes down, look what happens to Bitcoin. So what this article is stating is just not true. Okay, not true. Should I continue for validity on this article? Probably not. Let's see the next article here. Bitcoin recedes to 27,000 as Fed favors unabated tightening. So, yes, there was a Fed, is it governor, said, I don't see a compelling reason to pause rate hikes, meaning next month they may raise them. So what does that? How does that impact Bitcoin? Boom, it goes down. So let's see if there's any other articles here that we can rely on or any points. So I would see more of a compelling case for bringing the rates up. Bad news for crypto until you get a less uncertain about where the economy is going. Well, gee, dude, the economy is built around the direction of what the Fed does. That's a no-brainer. But you could see here, if that talk is hinted among other major financial media today, it does kill off the performance of Bitcoin. So there is truth to that. And it's just another reason why Bitcoin is correlated around the performance of gold, correlated around the performance of the markets. As I keep saying, if you want to build wealth, you want to be in uncorrelated assets. One of the best ones right now, probably USD, Japanese yen, and some other currencies among others. So that's how you're going to build wealth, not be stuck in Bitcoin. But I'm here to talk about Bitcoin because that's what people want. So there might be some stuff going on with China. I don't know if this is a valid article to continue with on that. Let me just go to the next one here. Ooh, look, free article. Yay. Is Ethereum ready to outperform Bitcoin? I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to be probably doing another Ethereum stream tonight about it. I've already done 4 streams, like in the last few hours, so I don't want to push my luck with TradingView. Bitcoin posed to break 6-month positivity monthly trend. Okay, let's take a look at that. So let me pull up yearly, monthly. Let's see what that says. 1 month. All right. So are we? Yep. There you go. So there is positive months, and then we're at the end of May today, and we had a negative month. So that is true. For once, with these type of articles. Bitcoin has shown signs of recovery last Thursday. Well, let's see. Let's go back to the 5-day. It doesn't look like Bitcoin's recovering there. So it's down 5% for the month. Monthly decrease of the year. So it did have positive performance March. January, April. But when you compare that to, as I've said, my other stream, Litecoin, for the year, Bitcoin's down. Uh, oh, people are disappointed. You shouldn't be, because Bitcoin is now correlated, as I said, to the performance of gold and stock market, it seems. And there's some indirect relationship with the dollar, and that's still somewhat potential. If you got comments or questions, let me know. I'll gladly uh, answer them. And let's see here. Primary borrowing cost 4.5%. Now it's all up to the Fed. I mean, the only time when Bitcoin will break out uh, is when something very bad happens, like with the bankruptcies of those banks in March. Bitcoin shot up, but then there was a follow up to another bankruptcy. Bitcoin didn't do what you think it would do, so it's kind of unpredictable. Uh, okay, so here's the price at 27,800. It did have week low of 25,900. This is what I like about Bitcoin. When it moves based upon its value, it moves up pretty good. So you can't argue that. Underwhelming monthly performance aligns with a renewed brief belief among bond traders the Fed will keep interest higher for longer duration. That is really dependent upon the employment. If employment, which came out today, goes up, the Fed goes, well, it's not what we want. We want unemployment. Bizarre as it may sound, that's to fight the debt and inflation. So, well, we got to raise the interest rates next month in June. So let's see if there's anything other worthy in here. So here's more hawkish Fed to boost the U.S. dollar this month, leading to a 2.7% appreciation against the basket of fiat, including the euro. Yeah, so as I said, this just confirms what I said. It is worth noting that Bitcoin generally moves inversely against the dollar. Okay, so that is what I said. Capital has been exiting crypto. Yeah, it's at its lowest point in the last 2 years. Stablecoins reaching a 20-month low, so that's almost 2 years. Market new driver to push the prices higher. So they are looking for new drivers. The only new driver I can think of pushing people into crypto, namely Bitcoin, are CBDC, central bank digital coins or digital currencies. While the tech has new momentum with advancements of AI and ChatGPT, has yet to benefit from these developments. I think people are looking at these ChatGPT and AI to see how they can predict price, right? Correlate. So here's another big one. Bitcoin's correlation with Wall Street Technology Index, NASDAQ, has weakened. So as I said, we've proven that here. Let's see here. Monthly. So NASDAQ goes down, Bitcoin goes down. Bitcoin gets hit a lot harder. Let's continue in this article here. Crypto, blah, 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 blah. Actually, this is not a bad article. Investors are drawn to high risk-free returns offered by money market funds. I can confirm that with 1 to 3 month T-bills, they're moving up quite a bit because people don't trust the banks with their deposits. So they're moving them into 1 to money markets, basically. 4% surge on Sunday was a relief rally triggered by the announcement of the provisional deal U.S. leaders. So again, what goes on in Washington with this debt negotiation, and it was positive Saturday night. Yes, there was a 4% pop for Bitcoin. So that, again, not uncorrelated, but it's good news for obviously everybody, with Bitcoin included. Next article. Bitcoin pauses watching the future of the U.S. debt ceiling. That's because basically the vote is tonight with the Congress on this new bill. So what's happening with Bitcoin on an intraday? See, it's gone flat. range bound, completely flat. Once that vote comes in, it'll either go one way or the other based upon what direction that vote comes in at. Um, okay, so that's pretty obvious. So there's no real direction you can tell what way Bitcoin will go. It just depends on the vote. So if you're ready to go and it does pass, and eventually it has to, people don't want a US default, get on your bot and start queuing that bot up because Bitcoin will move up in a positive direction once that formal announcement comes in. And the next stage is the Senate, and then it passes with Biden long term. I should say long term, but for the next good couple of weeks, you should expect to see Bitcoin move up along with the markets as well. So that's a definite. But it really comes down to the potential stumbling block will be with the Congress tonight with these freedom, what they call them, the Republicans, the freedom fighters or whatever they are. Okay. Countdown to the next Bitcoin half, less than a year away. Market trends and expert predictions. So it looks like is that saying that there's going to be a halving next year? I've already talked about the Litecoin halving, so you can check out that stream earlier today. Okay, raises traditional financial system given the trillions of dollars of federal debt issuance and inflation risk. Not just that, but I heard also Jamie Dimon talked about he wants to get rid of the debt ceiling as well. Because why? Well, he's a banker. He's in China. He's a globalist, basically, and it's in his best interest. Outside of that, he suggests investing in Bitcoin, gold, and real estate. I got other things about that one. Home builders, yes. Everything else, no, especially if it comes to commercial. Next article. All right. So again, Crypto Coin Press, Bitcoin monthly loss for the first time in 6 months. I think we've pretty well covered that. Just looking for anything new, boring cost, probably a repeat what we already covered. Blah, 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 blah. No. Okay, next one. Bitcoin and altcoin report, May 5th. When was this? So that's, okay. May, week 5. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. What's happening in the macro scene? Well, we've already talked about that with the federal interest rate. Debt ceiling remains unresolved. Credit crunch. Okay, let's talk about that. So if the banks negotiate, or sorry, the Fed does raise, well, we got a credit crunch among the banks. So that could drive up Bitcoin again as a catalyst for Bitcoin. If they raise interest rates in a couple of weeks in June, maybe more banks may bust. And guess what? Bitcoin should go up as more people get scared and they look to Bitcoin as being in the next best alternative, being outside the fiat system. Severe counterpart a credit risk. That's the thing about gold and Bitcoin. There's no counterparty risk. That's one of the reasons why people go into that. So there's no liability on the other side of holding Bitcoin or gold, physical gold. Financial, including banks, have become cautious about lending funds. So yeah, we know about the tightening of credit and so on. Repercussions of credit crunch permeate the entire economy, leading to a decline in home ownership, forcing business to curtail their activities, and scarcity of capital. That's a scarcity of capital in the financial fiat system. Bitcoin's still there, probably more valuable. Yeah, it's a limit, a cap on how much Bitcoin there is, which means that scarcity of capital could be said the same thing about Bitcoin. If that's the case, then guess what? Bitcoin long-term will move up. That's why you hear the 50,000, 100,000, $1 million Bitcoin because of that. The limit on how much Bitcoin is available, and they're at the tail end of mining that. Okay, credit crunch, protracted recession, slow recovery, Okay, this is another big one nobody's talking about. Hong Kong crypto trading legislation. What led to the major crypto crash was when China banned it. China looks like they're kind of leaning. Yeah, you can kind of hold it through Hong Kong, and guess what? They're piling in. So that could also drive up Bitcoin because of that. And also, if you don't know that both Hong Kong and the UAE are teaming up to write out unified and aligned regulation on crypto. So the two areas of growth will be quite possibly is both in Hong Kong. I did a podcast on that, as well as the UAE or just generally the Mid East, because that's where the wealth right now is. They're the money centers. Uh, let's see here, listed on at least two ETFs, cryptos with at least two ETFs. Okay, will qualify. Having suggesting that Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, Bitcoin Cash, Solana, Cardano, AVAX, uh, Polygon, and Chainlink meet the criteria. So those are the ones to watch, I guess, including the altcoins. But I've already shown art up streams and views of altcoins. Okay, so watch that. Wow, this is a long article. Should I come back to this? Let me just read the headlines here. Crypto stance a notable president candidate. Well, actually, that does matter because with DeSantis, he's saying we're not doing a CBDC. He cares about Bitcoin. So if he starts to grow in popularity, then yeah, that will be a positive thing for Bitcoin. Crypto stance on, okay, we've noted that. BTC gains ground, deteriorating liquidity outlook. Possibly. I never thought of that. Yeah, because if things start to drop in the fiat world, Bitcoin will get driven up. This is actually a good article, very good article. Again, on altcoinbuzz.io. So this is pretty good. Funding rate remains positive. Okay. Rising Bitcoin correlation with Chinese equities. Huh, I never thought of that. Let me see that. Okay, so I'll get rid of this one. I'll put in Hang Seng. Let's try that. I never thought of this. Hang Seng Index. HSI, that's in blue. Okay, let me get rid of that. I got to find something that. Okay, so Hang Seng, TVC. Okay, Hang Seng. This one. Let's see if that works. Okay, so I'm going to go to monthly. So I don't see this, what they're talking about here. Let me pull up CFD. Might be a little easier. So we want HK, let's say HK 30. HK 50, I'm sorry. Let's see here. So Bitcoin, they're correlated, it looks like. And it said, what? Rising correlation with Chinese equities. Ba-boom. Yeah, that's true. Look at that. That's perfect. Whoa. That is very, very odd. That might be due to, as I said earlier, about Bitcoin with Hong Kong opening up for holding crypto. That is pretty impressive. That's why I read these articles. But that correlation, wow. And that's monthly? Holy moly. That 3 month. Okay. So it looks like it just started forming like in the last month. Monthly correlation between HK 30 or Hong Kong markets, Hang Seng, and Bitcoin. That's impressive. So that's almost identical. Jeez. Wow. Okay, that's a pretty impressive one. So when they say Chinese equities, the best is just Hong Kong seems to be good exposure to what's going on in mainland China as well. Ethereum versus Visa. Say what? Okay, so I guess with Visa, old man credit card versus the Ethereum, what's going on in the whole ecosystem of Ethereum? Maybe. Ethereum's previous achievement against Visa, Ethereum liquidity concentration. Okay, shift away from US available exchanges. Let's see here. Yeah, we know about the Ethereum, sorry, the crypto regulation. The states is tightening up. I don't see anything interesting there. Ethereum 2% of market depth. I'm not sure if I understand what's trying to be said there. Anyways, Bitcoin profits in sight. Yes, there's a direct relationship between Bitcoin miners, and there's a bunch of them. Uh, Let me see if there is a Bitcoin ETF. So we are now going to do a look see. Let's see if I can find anything. Bitcoin miner. There we go. This one, let's say. So here's an ETF for the miners. Okay, so there you go again. So this WGMI, that's an ETF that focuses on miners for Bitcoin. So you could see here that that's kind of wild. There's no not, but that's an interesting one to watch because when Bitcoin goes up, profit for the miners go up as well. So this one should move up in direction with Bitcoin. Interesting concept. I never thought of that. Not like the Hang Seng though. That's interesting. Crypto quant, blah, 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 blah. Changing dynamics and miner Bitcoin selling. Okay, I've said this before. The miners, a lot of them are U.S. based. I don't know if you also know Tether announced they're going to start Bitcoin mining in Uruguay. Interesting enough, but that's a U.S. controlled company as well. So what I was going to say is that with the U.S., a lot of them, the miners for Bitcoin are U.S. based. I think that there's some kind of cabal between them all on they're the ones that control Bitcoin's price direction because they are the ones that mine. They're the ones that control when they release and sell back Bitcoin, and they can hold back Bitcoin as well. So as a cabal, potentially they can have major impact on the price. When they sell back to the exchanges, what happens? Bitcoin moves up, and I can't say for sure, but that's what I'm thinking can happen. Personalization of the Bitcoin mining. Now, if you want to know more about that, what I would do is start looking into on chain analysis to investigate that with that in mind. But this is a very, very good article because that way is one way you can track potential direction of Bitcoin. Next article, Federal Reserve bombshell announcement sees Bitcoin plunging. Yeah, we've already covered that. Yeah, we've already, there's going to be a lot of repeat here. Okay, this one I wanted to do. Bitcoin Golden Cross in August. See what's next for Bitcoin. So this is the nice thing about TradingView. Check it out. So if I go in, we'll keep those relationships there. And if I look for, I don't know, Golden Cross, SMA moving average, let's see what we get here on Bitcoin. Don't see it. That's not the right one I want. There isn't a pretty impressive, let me get rid of this thing, indicator, Golden Cross. I just can't remember which one it was. If I'm not, the looks I'll go was pretty good, but there might be Golden Cross 2 average, 7,000 likes. Yeah, it doesn't say a whole lot here. Let me try one more. Golden Cross. Let's see here. Golden Cross. We're looking for Golden Cross. Usually there's a bar along here. Okay. I'm not going to get into that one. Actually, okay, what are we on? Let me pull up a 5-year chart and pull up one of these indicators. So we're looking for golden crosses. Gold cross, come on, Westy, DDDD. This one might pull up. So I don't see it. Anyways, that was fun. So I will continue along what I was saying. So, all right. So, how do I get rid of this? Reset chart. I'm still trying to figure out trading view here. It's not very intuitive. Oh, minimize there. There you go. Sorry about that. Anyways, let's go through this. So there's a golden cross, blah, 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 Bitcoin market analysis. I don't think there would have been a golden cross for a while. So right here, you can see it right there. That was 2016. So we can create one here and just do a EMA 50 and 200. Okay, so we'll do EMA 50, 233 cross. Let's see if that will do anything. See, a lot of these I just don't know. And I wish you could get a better EMA 50, 200 cross. Oh, okay. Okay, this might be it. Okay, so what do we got here? Cross there, cross there, cross there, April 23rd. And we are on a 5-year. There's no crosses here, so I don't know if this is legit, but there is a cross there. And we got some, I'm going to assume these are death crosses. Anyways, we tried those. All right, so never mind. Okay, so I don't know if this is another bad article here. Again, coinpedia.org, Bitcoin Golden Cross. Here's what's next for the Bitcoin price. I don't know. Analysts point out Bitcoin responds to the occurrence with a bullish outlook. Here? Okay. I don't think that's a good sign. There's some Glassnode. This is a good site. Investors' concerns rise. 48% following today's dip. Further decline. Bitcoin dominance likely to trigger rising domino in the altcoin market. That's not a valid statement for sure. Bitcoin capitulation could fear and shock waves in the entire crypto industry, more sell-offs. As I said in my earlier streams today, altcoins are dropping off. They're not as valid as they used to be. There's a 2-year low interest in Bitcoin alone. Bitcoin in itself is trying to stay relevant. Forget the rest of them, with the exception of maybe Ethereum and XRP. But it's a question of the overall relevancy of the crypto industry as they're trying to get the attention of institutional investors. As long as it keeps dropping, as long as it's very highly volatile, you're not going to get the investments from institutions. So again, not a wise article at all. Next one we've got here. Coinpedia, Bitcoin price can hit new low if drops below this crucial level. So the 200 WMA has acted as a significant support in the 2 months despite the existence of a death cross. Well, let's confirm that. So here's Bitcoin. We are looking for 200-day weighted moving average. 9,200. Let me try that one. So which one's which? So you can see here, weighted moving average, I believe, is in green. Is that right? Either way, as it says, if it drops below either of these lines or this one, maybe, yeah, Bitcoin's kind of long term could be in trouble. That's from a technical standpoint. But we know that Bitcoin is really driven from macro events, namely, right now, the big one would be what's going on with the U.S. with the potential default. So that's what's driving it. That's where sometimes the technicals won't matter. So here's this guy's Bitcoin analysis. Bitcoin must hold on the current levels Bulls want to reign over the short term. Previously, the analysts know that needs to sweep below 26K to obtain more bullish liquidity. It's just pure technical pricing and lines. That's what's going to drive the price of Bitcoin. Don't think so. You gotta look at what's going on in the on-chain analysis, and overall, as I said, you gotta look at the macro as well. That's a huge importance. What's next for the crypto market? Investors are pouring cash into AI focused. People don't forget with the what was it UST? Whichever one came out of the Terraform people that put out that AI based stablecoin. What happened to it? Blew up. Lunacoin was affected by it as well. That's not wise. So Nvidia's trying to pump that out. That's why they're at a high. I think Nvidia is going to drop back very quickly, because not just because of that, but also because of the regulation in AI that EU want and the US want. Overall, cash liquidity in the crypto market is likely to circulate between different projects and investors on short-term volatility. No, I don't think so. I think overall, big picture, altcoins overall, volumes dropping, they're shrinking. That's among all of them. And as I said, Bitcoin's fighting for its own existence. Now, I want Bitcoin to win here, but when you have the old school fiat world regulators trying to kill off Bitcoin, that's another big problem because that becomes a deterrent for the institutional. I've talked about that one of my podcasts, streams earlier today. So yeah, I mean, Bitcoin, what's going on in El Salvador is amazing. I hope that spreads. It sounds like it is. And just really legitimizes where the people can have their own control over their own currency and financial world instead of being reliant on banks and the like there. But we know that the upper elites will, just don't want that. Anyways, so there's that. Continuing to two more articles here. Bitcoin faces worst month since 2022. So we've already talked about that and why. Shifts around 100 leading digital assets, parallel decrease in assets like AI gain prominence in the investor spotlight. We all know that everything is based around fads. Okay, AI is not a fad. We know that. But just because you have a startup or a fintech, you add AI to your label or name, does that mean you'll get investment? Probably not. And even if you do, it'll wither away, and you're just kind of like whizzing in the wind, as they say, on those returns. XRP holders, thank Beat for protection. I've already done a stream on XRP, so watch that. And I think XRP overall will be long-term, potentially better returns with XRP. And just watch that stream. Put it up earlier today. Last article. If you got questions, comments, let me know. Don't be shy at all. I'll be nice, I promise. Bitcoin 7-day hash rate sets all-time high. Here's how difficulty will change next. Now, this is very, very important. Okay. So as I said earlier, if you want to know the direction of Bitcoin, do your on-chain analysis. So we're going to start looking at some of that. Mining hash rate refers to measure of total amount of computing power that the Bitcoin miners have currently connected to the network. This is more purely for learning. Miners are bringing in more machines online right now. When the metric rises, this kind of trend is a sign that these chain validators are finding it profitable to mine on the network currently. Another way of saying blockchain. Decreasing value. Some miners are leaving the chain at the moment because it's too expensive to do it. They got to pay their utility costs and all that and other overhead. Such a trend can suggest the miners are funding it that attracted to mine the crypto. So there is that. The value of the metric seems to be observed increase in recent days. So I don't know if this is up to date. It should be. So if that declines, that goes up. Okay, so that's one metric. Miners rely on the USD value of their rewards since they usually pay running costs like electricity using the dollar. BTC. This is very good info to know about predicting Bitcoin. Bitcoin spot rising as it has during the rally increases its revenue. So as I said, the miners control all this. Uh, Miners expand their facilities, attract new miners to the blockchain. Improved revenue due to the rally has been one of the driving forces behind the current hash rate. I don't know if it talks about the difficulty. So there's also the difficulty, mining difficulty. So if the mining difficulty goes up, Bitcoin price drops. That's another good indicator as well. And that's again using on-chain analysis. Um, so the hash rate has continued to rise. Okay. So these are the sort of things you want to know about. And there's lots of places. Glassnode's a good one to know about that, to forecast it. And but it's not just that, but it's also macro that drives it right now because Bitcoin is very sensitive what goes on in the macro. Um, so mining hash rate, da da da. Let's see what it says in the chart here. Value of the metric seems to have observed an increase in recent days. So that is the hash rate. And here's the direction. Okay, we've already covered that. Let's go down to the last one. Mining difficulty. This one's really reliable. Mining difficulty is a feature that controls how hard miners find it to mine currently. If the hash rate rises, miners naturally become faster due to the increased computing power. So to balance it out, network also increases the difficulty enough that miners are slowed down to the desired rate. Because of the latest surge in the hash rate, Bitcoin mining difficulty is also going to go up over the next difficulty adjustment, which is scheduled to take place later today. The metric will go up by more than 3% in this adjustment. I'm giving you gold here on how you can predict Bitcoin, all on-chain analysis metrics. So Bitcoin's at around 1% last week, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. No questions, comments. Okay, I guess that's a pretty good info. And you're watching this at the tail end of this. You just got some gold on how to predict, forecast the price of Bitcoin. Other than that, nothing more for me to tell you. As I said, I'll have hopefully a Ethereum analysis and forecast later tonight to see where that goes. So all in all, what does it mean? This is really going to be driven by, as I said, where things go when it comes to Bitcoin and what happens at the macro level. In this case, the default negotiated bill, and it's right now in Congress, which way that vote goes, and it'll pop one way or another. If it's positive, up it goes, or it declines. And the next stage is the Senate. And then once it's official and signed off by Biden, then yeah. And there is an official deal. Bitcoin should continue to move up for the short term. And that's pretty well it. Thanks for watching. Have yourselves a good day. Over and out.